Okay, welcome, Henrik Peitz. You are the COO of fast-growing tech-driven company, e-grocery company Mathem. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the company?
Sure. Thank you very much for having me, and I'm really looking forward to start the discussion here with you. Well, what about myself? I've been in the supply chain development business the last almost 25 years. So in different positions, both consultancy, sales, and the last 10 years as operational management, and connected to Mathem. I've been there for 2.5 years as a COO, and I'm more or less responsible for everything that moves in the physical world. As you were saying, Mathem is a tech-driven company, but we are strong connected, of course, to the physical world together with the supply chain organization. So my responsibility goes from inbound and all the way out to the delivery to our customers' home.
Really exciting. That's all about, I mean, that's the whole business, really. The core of the business.
That is how maybe you and I as a logistics think,
Yeah.
but maybe in the rest of the management team, they would have other things to add.
Yeah, probably. We're going to talk about logistics and sustainability today, and this is something that has grown in importance over the years, and it was more of greenwashing just a few years ago, I suppose, but now they're really happening. There's happening a lot of things, and in a lot of areas of the supply chain. How much is this, from your point of view, driven by your consumers?
I would say that the consumers are playing a very strong role in this. They are, especially I would say, Mathem's customers are well aware of the challenge that we see on the global situation, but also very well informed how it actually impacts their daily life. They are well aware of the impact of food in the sustainability discussion. They are well aware of the prices. Where does the product comes from? How does it impact the transportation all the way? So I would say we have a very well educated customer base in this topic. So of course they are giving us the challenge back to actually prove that we are worth to supply them with their daily food by also from our side showing and maybe also educating how we can do that in a more efficient way than maybe our other partners in the business. So they are definitely putting the questions to us.
What are I know you have a strong ambition when it comes to sustainability, of course, and it's a lot about waste and so on. But what can you tell us? What are your most important sustainability goals? How are they?
I would say, I mean, when we talk about sustainability, it's not only going to the environmental discussion, the carbon footprint. For Mathem and myself, sustainability is a larger question, and we have, as of on a base of the UN Agenda 2030, outlined several number of targets from there and see how can we impact on those. And of course, except for the more obvious one with the environmental focus, we also have these with a good working environment and equality and these parts that we also need to take into account and strong work with to be a good employer to our employees, but also to have a backbone in our values that we actually mean what we are saying.
And you have done a lot of things, and recently you updated your fleet. You told me about that. Can you give us some examples of what you concretely do?
Yeah, let's take it step by step and start in the end where we actually do the distribution, and that is the whole business idea for Mathem, that we deliver the food that our customer has ordered in our trucks. And step one there is that approximately 30 customers can be distributed with one truck. And that is, of course, a major impact on the carbon footprint and traffic situation and so forth, that we actually can reduce the number of customers going to their supermarkets and we are coming to them instead. So that is one big lever in the distribution concept. Then, as you told, we have an updated truck fleet where we can to 100% extent at the moment run with HVO. So by that we last year took the decision to go to a fossil-free distribution concept, which I think is quite easy, and there is no way to get around it. You just have to do it if it's possible for you. So it's cost a little bit extra, but it feels good that we do things that are easy, and that we really want to show that we are walking the talk more or less regarding that. But also that we get a truck fleet with the latest software, how to actually drive in the city centers and so forth, but that they also are insulated in a great way, so the cool chain is kept, and that we also by that reduce the waste, but also give the long possibility for the food to stay in the customer as long as possible. But coming back to other parts here, when we talk about what we really are taking action on is, of course, our warehouses, where we consume quite a lot of energy. We have different temperature zones. There are different ones for fruit and vegetables. We have the freezer and so forth, and that drives, of course, efficiency, consumption of energy. And I would say that is something we need to work more with, especially when we are creating new sites, that we secure that we actually have the latest technology in construction, but also that we work together with our suppliers of energy, so they buy and purchase and deliver energy that is green certificated, so we can ensure that it's produced in a best possible way.
You talked about warehouses, and you have a large warehouse being built, I think, still in Larsboda outside Stockholm. What are you doing there to become more sustainable?
I mean, there are a few companies within our business that gets the possibility to actually build a large greenfield solution that takes so many possibilities into account at once. So of course we are super happy that we have had that possibility, and we have actually 3 major focuses on the new site in Larsboda. Often we are talking about it as a warehouse. We inside Mathem call it a customer fulfillment center. It's not a warehouse. The pieces, the products, the goods are moving all the time. So we don't have any high stock levels, so it always have a high turnover. And I think that also drives the way how to manage such a customer fulfillment center from an environmental and sustainable perspective. So we say 3 things. It should be efficient. We need to find good economics in this, so we can make good figures for Mathem. The second one is great working environment for our employees. This will be a flagship within the working environment compared to other logistics facilities in the business, which I'm very proud of. And then the third part is how do we do all this in best possible sustainable way.
And you also have a lot of other technologies, and not at least your warehouse management system. And as Concept Logistics is a sponsor of this episode of Supply Chain 600 Seconds, I think we should say something about the in general the way that a warehouse management system can help you to become more efficient and more sustainable in several ways. Can you elaborate a little bit about this?
Sure. I mean, a warehouse management system is the brain inside a warehouse. It's extremely important that it works, it has a high availability, and that the downtime is minimized in all possible way. All kinds of disruption in this will direct affect the customer experience, the cost for the operation, and so forth. So I can't not high enough point out the importance to have a great working warehouse management system. But it's not a standalone product that you can buy off shelf. It has to be developed quite in detail together with the user. And at Mathem, at the moment at least, we are talking a lot of different definitions. We are talking a lot about technical capacity. Do we have the right equipment? Do we have the right mechanics? Do we have the facility that actually support us? On top of that, we are talking about system capacity. What kind of support do we get from different systems? Our ERP system, our customer sales tool, and then of course our WMS that actually then drives the work in the warehouse. And on top of this, we have the operational capacity. Actually, how does Mathem work with the tools that we are given? So, and that is what I would say the key to success. How do you actually manage to work with the different tools that you are given? And there the workforce management system is key because it connects the physical, the technical, and the operational part. And I have in different occasions worked together with Consafe the last 20 years. And at the moment we are developing a new setup for Mathem's new customer fulfillment center, but also in the same time developing new features for all our sites. I mean, we have at the moment 3 sites in our larger cities, and that is of course key that all of these are working in the same way. We had an example last week where we took people from our site in Stockholm and drove them to Gothenburg to help out for the midsummer sales and so forth. And directly they knew the interface, they knew the processes, and so they could really quick interact. So I think that is a benefit when you run multiple sites, that you also have one supplier of a warehouse management system, so that works. Coming back a little bit about sustainability and WMS, of course, it goes hand in hand with efficiency, that we know that we actually use the right amount of workload that we need. But I would also say that it makes and helps us to work smarter. We have some functions inside our system that helps us to calculate the volumes in the different customer orders, so we minimize both the number of load units that we are transporting, minimizing the number of paper bags that we put our goods inside, and so forth. And that in combination with the overall work, I think it contributes in a good way. One thing I also maybe can challenge the whole industry is, of course, these that are supplying the systems. How can they help us as a end user of these to become both more efficient, but also point out the sustainability possibilities? There must be a lot of data and best practices to share.
Yeah, I think partly that is what we are doing now, but they could do much more, of course, to be more specific about it. We will tell them this now so that they can do that. Finally, if we look a bit to the future, no one knows so much about it, but what are your visions and hopes if we look 5 to 10 years ahead from now? How will you have improved further your efficiency and sustainability in the future?
I think there are a lot to be done. I think the tools are there. I think just we need to work with them, highlight them, celebrate them. If we look back 3 years, we didn't know anything about COVID. We didn't know anything about the crisis in Ukraine and so forth. So what's coming around the corner, we don't know, but we can prepare. And I think that is what we need to do. If we look in Mathem's plan, of course, we also work with a 5-year plan, but the likelihood that it will be like it is limited, but we need to have some guidelines. We see, especially in the distribution fleet, that we need to electrify. In our new site in Larsboda, we have possibility to charge up to 400 delivery vehicles with electricity, and we are participating in 2 or 3 different development projects to see what is actually the need and requirements to get a working delivery truck. There needs to be done more. That cannot Mathem do alone. The suppliers needs to develop the technology, but also that the government take a new look into the regulation that has been discussed regarding increasing weight of these delivery trucks that we today have 3.5 tons. And I think the request is to enhance that with a couple of 100 kilos to enable larger batteries. That then would be a possibility for us to switch technology. So that is something we need in the whole business, I guess, to push forward so we can use the technology that is available.
Exciting.
I think it is, because fossil-free and electrical driven is here to stay, so there is no point of return there. But we need to participate, we need to try to involve ourselves, but also put pressure on our partners.
Thank you so much, Henrik Peitz. This is it's been a short discussion. We could discuss it for hours, really, because it's so much to talk about when it comes to sustainability and logistics. And we will come back to it in other formats where we will dive deeper into it, because it's really a big area. Very nice to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me, and looking forward to come back.